TTRLers, I am here with the one and only Matt McGee.
Hello there.
Welcome. It's so good to see you.
Thank
I love
you.
the mustache.
Well, I know, a mustache of all things. I know. I'm growing it for my art, as they say. So
Well, it's giving some major Zaddy vibes. So I'm loving it.
That's what I was hoping for, truly.
So you are a busy, busy person. I'm so honored that you were able to carve out some time to chat.
Always
You're currently starring in I Love to Eat at Free Fall Theater.
That's right. I'm on the set right now in James Beard's kitchen. It's amazing.
On location.
I know. There's the fridge right behind me. Well, I do. I have to actually make food in the show, which is nerve-wracking, but it's fun.
You do? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the show. It's about James Beard.
That's right. We're so lucky here in Tampa Bay. We have so many great restaurants, great chefs. We're hearing about people having, James Beard nominations or James Beard awards. So that's the way people know it. But little do people know about James Beard, who was the first television chef, basically. He was the first. I mean, look out, Ina Garten. He was the first, you know what I mean? Even before Julia Child. In 1946 on NBC, he had a show called James Beard and I Love to Eat. And this show is sort of a fictionalized version of what it would be like to have sort of a fun night at home with James Beard at his Greenwich Village apartment as he cooks and tells you stories. I had never heard of James Beard, so I started to Google him. There's not a ton of footage of him, of his old show, but there are some great pieces like PBS American Masters does a wonderful documentary about his life. Julia Child speaks so fondly of him. And we are both bald. And now that I have a mustache, I'm getting into the world of living the James Beard Zaddy vibes. But
the original Zaddy.
He was. And the more I learned about him, the more fascinated I was with him. He was this really fascinating character. He was really the father of the farm to table movement. He believed in fresh ingredients, simple, the best you can find in season. He really was a big, all of his dishes were very limited ingredients. And if you look up some of his recipes, you go, oh, this is just chicken and coriander. And, he makes it very simple and very accessible. And I believe that he brought that kind of so much more different than Julia Child and her love of French cuisine with all of those ingredients. So it's kind of amazing what he kind of came up with. And he was openly gay at a time where, it just wasn't really heard of. So it was something that he never made a big deal about. It just was well known about him, I guess. I didn't know it, but I'm so glad I do now. So now when I think of him, I don't think about this. I mean, I do think about this great chef who started the farm to table movement, America's first foodie, but I also think about him as being sort of a LGBTQ pioneer at a time where you just didn't see that type of thing. Imagine the first cooking show on television was hosted by an out gay man. It's kind of amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. You can see Matt in I Love to Eat playing at Free Fall Theater in St. Pete through February 27th.
Right.
And then he'll be hopping over the bridge to play in Murder on the Orient Express in March at Stageworks Theater. And then you can see him right here at the Strata Center this summer in Nonsense Amen.
This will be my fourth go as Reverend Mother. And I just think, like a fine wine, as you get older, playing Reverend Mother gets easier and easier. You know what I mean? You just get better and better about playing that old dame. So the mustache.
We'll use that as our marketing tagline.
The mustache will be gone for that show, then. So no one has to.
Oh, darn.
I know.
I love a nun with a mustache.
I know, me too. Who knew? But it might throw some people off. But Nonsense Amen is a joy. I think audiences are going to get a kick out of that. It is pure fun from start to finish. Being in life, the kids, the music of life seems to me like a bell that is ringing for a new share. And from the way that I feel when that bell starts to peal, I could swear I was falling. I would swear I was falling. Well, it's almost like me in love. Who you got next? Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand. You ready? Barbra Streisand. Barbara. Oh, the music of life seems to be like a bell that is ringing for me. How about Judy? And from the way that I fear, when that bell starts to veer, I could swear I was falling. Get your heart out, Renee. Swear I was falling. When it's almost like being in love.
Hey, TTRLers. I am here with Creative Loafing Tampa's editor-in-chief, Ray Roa. Hey, Ray.
Hello.
And of course, the one, the only Yborical, Caroline DeBrule. Hey, how's it going?
Hello, it's going great, Zach. How are you?
Just fabulous. I'm enjoying this sweater weather. It's just absolutely lovely. It's darling.
I know. It's like we had a little bit. Yeah, we had winter and then it came back again. I assumed it was just going to be 80 from the first week of February onward, and it's not.
So what is the latest and greatest this week in Creative Loafing news?
So on the cover, there's new pop-up coffee. It's a multi-roaster model called Now and Then. It's going to do its first pop-up in Seminole Heights over the weekend. It's run by a couple of folks who are long-time Tampa Bay coffee vet scenes. And the multi-roaster thing is quite ambitious because it kind of puts the farmer first and really tries to make people aware of how their coffee gets to the cup. And I think that's really ambitious in a time when supply chain is crazy and things like that. So Kyla Fields, who was a pretty much part-timer, almost full-timer before the pandemic, kind of a victim of layoffs, has really come back to the office in a big way and really just reinvigorated our food vertical. So we're very grateful for her. She had a great conversation with those Now and Then folks. So there's that. Justin Garcia, as anybody who regularly picks up red paper, has been very busy. So the news vertical continues to be driven by him, whether it's Leonard Peltier up at Coleman there, about an hour north. He's locked up over there, down to housing, which Justin continues to tackle. And he actually got kind of personal this week. Justin talked about being a homeless teenager and how a recent city council vote kind of made him feel. It's Valentine's Day, so we've got some stuff to help you tell your sweetie, brie mine and eat this charcuterie with me.
Is that a Ray Rowe original line?
Yeah, so we got that. Alexandria handled that, and John Allman went to American Stage, cut the latest production there. John Palmer Claridge, our theater and food critic, and obviously all the best live music. We'll get the Alton Brown thing in next week. That was a pretty cool thing. If my internet people, I'm sure you saw it out there if you're watching TTRL, but Alton Brown, whose celebrity I did not quite fully grasp. Mm-hmm. He's been in Tampa to kick off his tour at the Strat Center, and he stopped into Supernatural Food and Wine, one of the best spots in Tampa for sure. Best donut in town, I think.
Yep.
But he loved the BEC, the breakfast bacon, egg, and cheese. Said it was the best he ever had. So I went over there to talk to Wes, who is the founder over there, to ask him, and Chef Brown was just sitting outside. So bought him a donut, asked him to reconfirm, and so it's been pretty cool. So all that in the issue, good stuff. And also, we're talking making babies.
Speaking of Valentine's Day.
Yes, exactly.
So what is in the cards for the bebés?
So it was really exciting. So this week we had a lady who asked a question about, she and her husband are thinking about like starting a family and having their first baby, but then she's also applying for jobs right now. And so it is, should she wait to hear from the jobs or should she not? And I got this question actually on a Witch High Holy Day. It was called Mbok. It's February 1st. So that is, it's the day when like life is like starting to go. So it's like halfway between midwinter and the first day of spring. So it's like little like snowdrops were popping up and like, birds are starting to come out. So it's like the little like stirrings of life are happening. And so it was a great day of like rebirth and like renewal, all that stuff. So it was a very fortuitous day to answer these cards. And cards we got, I have them over here. We had our Ten of Pentacles, our Ace of Wands, our Justice card, and our old friend, the Devil. So it was an exciting card. So both of them, the cards could also be for like getting a new job. So, you know, there's the idea of like having a lot of balance. The Ten of Pentacles is like the finishing, the completion, like being the height of your job. You know, the Devil is like a lot of anxiety, but also passion. And then, you know, Ace of Wands is new beginnings. But then also with the family, Ace of Wands is new beginnings, and it's also new life. Ten of Pentacles is being the height of your career, but it's also like, it's your legacy, it's your family, it's why you go to work in the first place. Justice is this idea of like, you know, learning like how to have balance, like we have the scales. And so, you know, incorporating all of these things together, not just being like, oh, this is the answer for if you have a job, this is the answer for your baby. It's like, this is what you have to do to have both at the same time. And then you're one, two. And then, you know, with the Devil, it's like you might have some anxiety because having a baby can lead to a lot of worries, you know, financial, emotional, physical. It's like, you know, I just got a new puppy, and like just going around my own house to be like, this is a death trap for any small creature. Like it can eat hand cream or like a Benadryl on the floor. So I can't imagine what it's like to have a very small baby, especially one that can like move. But it was very exciting, and so the cards seem to say, you know, that this is a great thing to go forward with. And it is, you know, difficult to apply to jobs while being pregnant. You know, pregnant women do face a lot of discrimination when they're applying for jobs, as well as once they're in their employment, they can be discriminated against. And the New York Times this past week actually had a great article about the silver lining of the pandemic, as women who work from home have been able to like hide their pregnancy up until like 30 days before they go on maternity leave, so they can continue doing their jobs. And, you know, it's only works if you're like, seeing somebody from like, you know, the head up.
Right.
But you know, that if they're feeling ready, if they, you know, are feeling good on like, regardless of what the financial outcome is, like, you know, might as well start trying. So, you know, it is Valentine's Day. It is a lovey-dovey type of day. It's nice and cold. You can hang out and, you know, sit by a fireside, eat some great brie, you know.
There's the brie. The brie is the snack of the season, I'm guessing.
I mean, is there anything sexier than a good like washed down cheese?
Hey TTRL, I am here with Ardail Eternal and Naveszn. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Zachary?
Great to see you. Happy almost Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, time flies, man.
Yes. Your first Valentine's as a married couple.
As a married couple, yes, sir.
How did you meet?
She got it.
So we met in high school. It was my sophomore year, his junior year. And we liked each other, but it didn't work out back then. So in November 2019, we met back up at this studio opening in Ybor, which is now 5 studios now. We just never stopped hanging out. And it was just divine. Like, it was just perfect. He did music. He's a singer, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you do music as well before you two were together, or did that kind of come out of your relationship?
I would say that I wasn't writing I wasn't doing music for real before I was with him. I was just having a hard time in life, to be honest. And when I got with Ardail, like, I renewed my life in Christ. And I also like gained my passions back for singing, because I stopped singing when I went to college. And so I was like, listen, I'm gonna use my voice now, you know.
My dad grew up playing like all the instruments, so growing up, I heard a lot of jazz, and I hated it back then because, you know, it wasn't what was on the radio for my generation, but it really allowed me to broaden my musical taste, as well as have some foundational understanding of where music comes from and how we get the music that we have today.
I love that both of you are so, you explore all different realms of creativity. Like, you're not, you know, even in music, you cover different genres and blend different things together. You also explore fashion, and what kind of motivates you creatively or inspires you?
Man, growing up, I was always a big fan of Kanye, to be straightforward. And the way that I, saw him have the same confidence in anything that he did really, really allowed me to use him as a mentor and be like, man, like, this man is making music, but they told him he couldn't be a rapper. So he got his beats good. Then he got into the door as a rapper. And then as a rapper, he used his influence to shape the fashion industry in different ways and things like that. So me having a love for us, because we both Kanye fans, but us having a love for fashion, music, art, all sorts of things. I mean, aside from God, of course, that he was really, really the force that pushed me to pursue excellence in everything that I love. Because, most people would choose one thing, which is what I did. I chose rap at first, but then I realized, like, if I got all these skills and abilities and gifts, I might as well use everything. I can incorporate the same message and the same love and passion in anything that I do. And I didn't realize that until I got older.
I would say my passion comes from, I just see that I'm good at, I like exploring the different methods of creativity. So like, I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I'm like, since elementary, well, my mom is also an artist. So my mom can realistically draw. So I always tell people, like, I guess it just, passed down. My brother can realistically draw. I can too, but I'm more so, I like doing like cartoons. And so when I was able to do cartoons, I was like, maybe I could do murals. And then I'm also a singer, but I also like poetry and I also like fashion. So yeah. I like expressing myself and I also like changing my hair. My hair it's very like chill right now, but I like, exploring different hair colors and wigs and styles. And I just like being creative.
Yes, the viewers need to go to your Instagram because you serve looks.
Thank you. I love
that. I love that curiosity to continually find new ways to express yourself and yes. Not pigeonhole yourself into one particular medium.
I like the word you chose, that it is a creative curiosity to explore the ends and depths of what we're really interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And so because it's Valentine's Day, you have a song, Love and Forgive.
So Love and Forgive, it came from a place. So when we wrote it, it was during a time where we were just in the beginnings of our relationship. And we're just also learning about what love is, about, what forgiveness is. And I would realize, like, okay, I'm getting into arguments with him, but like, it's on my part, like just me, being emotional, or me like, dwelling on something that's petty. And I'm like, okay, guys.
It wasn't all her. I had some hands in it. I think that's the beautiful part in it, though. Like, love and forgive. Understand that, like, street. We both, come from certain backgrounds, have certain idiosyncrasies and all these type of things. And we all got bad habits. I think when I realized that love isn't just an emotion or feeling, but it's also a choice to continuously love a specific person for the rest of your life, especially when you consider marriage. I think that's when I really began to understand the power in loving and forgiving. Because you could love somebody but be like, nah, I'm straight. Like, I'm gonna cut you off and keep it moving. But to love and forgive allows continuous growth. It's a grace that's allowed, to make mistakes. So if she forgets something that I asked her, or like she asked me to bring her a drink and I was running late, so I ain't had a drink, and we didn't even talk about it. It was just more of like well, I guess we're not having a drink then. Type thing. It was a little from 7-Eleven. This Remedy Essentials. Very good. You have to pay us. But anyway, yeah, Zachary. Love and forgive came from a really pure place of wanting to grow together and understand that although we have these rough patches in our relationship, they're not to tear us apart. They're meant to grow us together. I believe that anybody you love, whether your mom, your brother, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever, if you love them, that's going to be tested. And to say that you love someone is to endure the test, because the purpose of what you're there for supersedes what you're going through, how you feel.
And I think it's important too to understand that, like, the definition, like, love is patient, love is kind. So when you say that you love somebody, when you profess that, oh my gosh, I love this person, but then you realize, okay, I'm not being patient with them, I'm not being kind, I'm not, doing all of this. And it's like, okay, do I really love them? So you really just start to lean into, okay, let me really love them. Let me forgive, like, look past certain things, or help them out in that aspect, but not give up on, something that's so special.
How I'm supposed to love if it's hard to forgive? Fresh prince to my pride, like our favorite Anvil. I toss and turn, I set my mind on the spin cycle setting. Wishy-wash was off, sloppy facts slip right through my netting. Make these thoughts obedient to Christ. So how I'm second guessing on my blessings. Should've never been stressing, asking God don't take them away. I really learned my lesson, yeah. Really learned my lesson, Lord. So why I wanna be so mad when it's silly? I let that anger tuck me in, God be like, really? He let the enemy set up camp then. Have your fussing, boom, it's over, that's a stamp then. Your regrets gon' have you up and steady vamping. Asking back to Hoover days when y'all was vamping. But these tears got your face wet and steady jumping now. And steady jumping. And that's why you supposed to love and be quick to forgive. Fresh prince to my pride, like our favorite Anvil.
Yeah. The hardest part being the artist is thinking you flawless. Plus success ain't promised regardless who worked the hardest. My toxic trait is sarcasm, I'm callous, that's what they call it. Loud on my mind from being judgmental, I'm so exhausted. You were hesitant at first, baby, I'm glad you fought it. Had me fighting like a big fish, I went deep and caught it. You desire me in ways I never thought to seek. Amazing grace, I once was blind, but you know the rest. I learned obedience through suffering. Spent many seasons buffering, and all of that prepared me for you. Cause now my fashion high-end and my taste is luxury, but none of that compares to all the priceless things that you do. Yeah, I caught feelings like the flu first couple of days around you. You held my hand and then I knew my hands ain't sweaty, that's glue. That's why I kiss you on your cheek, cause you the sweetest thing I known. I was a child when I dissed you, now I'm grown. Forgive me.
This is the most peace I've ever known. Even when the storms blow, our foundation is strong, Lord. This is the most peace I've ever known. Oh, this is the most peace we've ever known. When I look into your eyes, God set you aside. God set you aside, yeah. So I apologize. Oh.